Welcome to Everyday Martial Artist, a weekly podcast where you'll join me, Brian Doucette, as I interview a different martial artist each episode and hear their story. Some guests you may have heard of, and some you probably haven't. Be sure to subscribe where all your favorite podcasts are available. Also visit our website at everydaymartialartist.com. If you're listening for a specific interview, I sure hope you'll stay and check out the other episodes. A very special thank you to Topher Williams for our custom theme music. And now, the newest episode of Everyday Martial Artist. Everyday Martial Artist is brought to you by KOOnline.com for all your martial arts needs. Sparring and safety gear, rank belts, uniforms, weapons, patches, and more. Wholesale supplies made by martial artists for martial artists. Visit us today at ko-online.com. You know, one question I ask every guest on Everyday Martial Artist is about their favorite martial arts book. And there's never been one quite like Martial Theory by Steve Perlman, described as the art of war for the martial arts. Martial Theory helps any martial artist or instructor take their understanding and teaching to the next level. And at martialtheoryU.com, you'll find a global community with instructor groups, Q&A with Steve, live events, and demonstrations to help you apply martial theory directly to your training. It's not just a book, it's a movement. Find Martial Theory on Amazon, and when you join martialtheoryU.com, use discount code EverydayMA for 20% off. That's under $20 a month for life. That's martialtheoryU.com, code EverydayMA. Hello and welcome to Everyday Martial Artist. I'm your host, Brian Doucette, and as we do every week, we're joined by a brand new guest talking about their life and their journey throughout the world of martial arts and other stuff they're involved in. My guest today is a 7th degree black belt in Taekwondo who began his martial arts journey at the age of 16 at the South 2nd Street Youth Center in Plainfield, New Jersey, under the instruction of Joe Tucker. He started competing as a red belt in 1979 on the AAU Karate circuit and was soon invited to try out for the National AAU Karate Team. After earning his black belt, he continued his training under both Grandmaster Chung Kim and Master Tony Alvarez, refining his skills and preparing to take the tournament circuit by storm. Alongside teammates like Mark Williams and Herb Perez, he went on to capture around 80 championships, including victories at the prestigious All-American Open at Madison Square Garden and the AAU Taekwondo Nationals, where he earned both gold and silver medals. Since 1989, he's shared his passion for Taekwondo through after-school and Saturday morning programs, helping students not only achieve success in competition, but also in life. Now nearing retirement from his long career in public schools, he's channeling his creativity into writing, where he's now written 7 children's books with stories based on the principles of Taekwondo. Please welcome my guest today, Mr. Keith Kelly. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. You know, I've heard you do this for so many people, and it sounds amazing. But when you do it, when you hear it for your own self, it's like, wow, I must have done some great stuff here.
That's right. People love those intros, man. I hear that very often. They really like those intros, so that's good. First of all, thank you for listening. I truly appreciate that you've been a listener. I'm just kind of curious, how'd you find me? Just like a random search? Did someone recommend it to you?
I think I actually heard you when you did Herb Perez.
Oh, okay. Oh, so yeah, you're a longtime listener then. Yeah, Herb was back in, God, he was like I think he was in my first 10, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he was number 3. He was guest number 3. So yeah, you're one of my longtime listeners. I appreciate that. That's cool.
Oh, definitely.
Awesome. Well, then you know what we do. So I want to go back, and I mentioned you when you were 16, but we want to know what led to that. You know, where did that first interest in martial arts came from? What was that spark that kicked off your martial arts journey?
Okay, my dad was in the late part of the Korean War.
Okay.
So he spent a lot of time in Korea. So he dabbled in some stuff over there. And then he came back home, and he would buy the Bruce Tegner judo karate books.
Nice.
Back in the day.
Yep.
And we would mess around with some stuff here and there, but I didn't have any formal training at that point. When I was a teenager, he actually started training in Taekwondo, but he wouldn't pay for me to go. He just did it for himself.
Okay.
Thanks, Dad. But he would come home and show me some things here and there, but still I wasn't able to go myself. So the junior of my high school year, they started offering a morning kung fu class.
Oh.
So Tuesday and Thursday mornings, I was there and training kung fu from September to June. And my instructor, I didn't know he was famous at the time. His name was Tayari Cassell.
Oh, okay.
And very nice man. So I said, okay, I'm going to save up money and be able to go to his martial arts school because it was in my town. So I was doing lawns and, babysitting and everything I could to save up money. So by the end of that school year, I had enough money to attend class.
Okay.
But the problem is, when we went down to a school, he had moved back to D.C. So my friends used to always tell me about this tough Taekwondo school down at the South 2nd Street Youth Center, and it was really good, really tough. So I'm thinking to myself, well, I've been taking Kung Fu for a year now. We haven't sparred, but I think my kung fu is pretty good. So I went down there, joined the class, we're doing techniques. I'm looking around and everybody's stuff is so much better than mine. These guys are really, really good. But I was all in at that point.
Okay.
And I stayed there and pretty much got my head handed to me for the next 6 months.
Nice.
But it became my happy space.
So what was it about it? What, I know you've heard me ask this question many times, but what about, was it the school? Was it the instructor? Was it a big combination? But kind of what are the things that really drew you in and made, you said you were all in. What was it about it that made you go all in and stick with it?
Well, it was a combination of all those things. The instructor, eventually became a father image to me because of how he led his life and did things. Plus the guys that trained with were great. And I just loved the workouts. But I was always athletic. I always did different things.
Mm-hmm.
I had a basketball court in my backyard.
Nice.
I ran track in high school, but I was just good at those things. I wasn't great at them.
Okay.
And being very competitive, I'm not going to do something where I'm not going to be very successful.
Yeah.
But with Taekwondo, I took to it like a fish to water.
Okay. You got to ask, nothing to do with martial arts, but I had a son that ran track. So what was your specialty in track? What'd you run?
I ran cross country. Well,
okay.
First I started off with a quarter mile, which I could not stand. It was the worst event ever.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was horrible. That's the first event they put me in, and I just hated it. I came in last or next to last every race. It was torture.
Mm-hmm.
So then in the fall, I did cross country. I was pretty good at cross country.
Okay.
But not phenomenal. But then for spring, I did hurdles, 330 intermediate hurdles, which I was good at. But then there are 3 guys on the team who are much better than me. So what was the point? I'm never going to medal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, when the Taekwondo came around in June, I started training then. It was just a natural fit for me.
Okay. Did you keep doing other sports while you're doing Taekwondo, or everything went with Taekwondo?
No, Taekwondo was it.
Okay.
I ran for conditioning, but that's all.
Okay. And how long after you got there, you talked a little bit about, how you'd never sparred before. How long after you joined that school before you did your first competition?
In the classroom? In the school itself?
Well, whether it's in the school or in an actual tournament, yeah.
In the school, it's fighting for my life every class.
Okay.
Just trying to live. But we went to Madison Square Garden that following March.
Okay.
I was still a white belt.
Wow.
And we would always go there no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And I won my first fight and lost my second.
Okay.
But the fact that I won my first fight, it was great. I really felt good about that. I didn't mind that I lost my second because I won my first one.
Yeah.
So we competed once or twice a year until I got to be a red belt. And then I followed my seniors around. Okay. Wherever they went, I went. And we fought in crazy karate tournaments in New York and Taekwondo tournaments in Jersey and AAU karate tournaments. Of course, we fought AAU karate because I didn't know about AAU Taekwondo.
Yeah.
That was the thing, too, because they really didn't like us because we're Taekwondo, those old prejudices. It's funny how you inherit that.
Yeah.
You inherit the prejudices of your style, of your system. The Korean stylists, even though we're Americans, didn't like the Japanese stylists, even though we're Americans, because they were, Japanese from Japan.
Yeah.
So AAU was the same thing. So I won regionals. I lost states where they made sure I lost states. And then we went to the Eastern Divisionals over the Bronx. And the 6 guys from the East Coast who fought in that team, because it was a brown belt, black belt division, were really good. And I ended up taking second place. I lost to another Taekwondo guy. But these 6 people were supposed to go to Nationals. Okay. So then we all got letters saying that we didn't qualify, but we could try out for the U.S. team in Akron, Ohio. So I said, okay. A few days later, I got a phone call from Grandmaster Thomas with Puppet. Are you familiar with him?
I've heard the name, but I know very little. I think 1 or 2 other guests have maybe mentioned him, maybe.
He's great with the Grandmaster. I think he actually won the Garden once.
Okay.
Shirley-Khan guy. And called me up and said, listen, what happened was the wrong guys won. So just go out to the U.S. team trials and give it your best shot. And after U.S. team trials, I actually met Billy Blanks.
Oh, nice.
So he won't remember because it's so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking more to my instructor than he was to me. But by then, he was fed up with the AAU.
Yeah.
Because he's a Taekwondo guy fighting AAU karate, and he had to go by their rules. So he was on a team where he fought in South Africa, and the rules were different there. So his kicks were everywhere, flying all over the place. So if all the points he made, he was supposed to be number 1 man to go on the next tournament.
Okay.
But they told him, you're not going because you use your legs too much. So he was upset by that and said, you know what, this is my last year fighting AAU, karate. So, I gave my best shot, but I didn't make the team. But it was a great experience.
So before you tried out for that team, was that the furthest you had ever traveled for any kind of tournament?
Yes.
Okay.
That was a drive, man. Akron, Ohio, from Jersey. That was a drive. I had 10 hours.
And at this time, you were still red belt, brown belt?
Yes.
Okay.
That following February, I got my black belt.
What do you remember about that black belt test?
Well, one thing, the black belt test that happened 5 years earlier was the last one the Master Kim had given.
Oh.
Because he promoted a guy to black belt who went rogue.
Mm.
And he wanted to make sure that didn't happen again. So he contemplated what he wanted to do and figure things out. So we had to fast for 3 days.
Wow.
And read certain books. Then we went there for the weekend. So we got there overnight. We got there Friday night. We trained. He talked to us for like 2 or 3 hours. So like we're going to bed, sleeping at the dojang, probably around midnight. We got up at 5:30 about.
Okay.
Went to the park, went running, and watched the sunrise. He explained how as the sun rises for the new day, this is the start of your new life. So then we came back to the school, we tested, and let me tell you, man, like after that test, when he came up to me and tied my black belt around my waist, that's something I'll never forget to this day.
That's cool.
Oh, I do it to all my guys now because it was just such an incredible experience.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the stuff you had to do throughout the test?
It's standard stuff, forms, 1-set sparring, 3-set sparring, and sparring.
Okay.
It wasn't like one of those 6-hour marathon things.
Yeah. Did you have to do any breaking back then?
Oh, yeah, and breaking.
Okay. What was your favorite break you had to do for your black belt test? Or maybe the most difficult?
It wasn't really about difficulty. It was just getting it over with.
Okay.
I think I broke the punch, maybe a back kick. That's all I remember.
Okay.
Because we weren't a big breaking school. We were just a big fighting school.
Okay. That makes sense. And did you do strictly, when you competed, was it strictly sparring? Did you ever compete in forms? Did you ever compete in weapons?
Nah, we didn't. We didn't train in weapons. And I just fought. That's all I wanted to do was fight.
So then after you got the black belt, do you remember the very first tournament you entered after getting your black belt?
The Garden.
Nice.
The All-American Open. But the thing about, these tournaments, you're fighting out the middleweight. So you're fighting in a division where people are to be black belts 6 months, an hour, or 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So my first fight was against a Shotogan guy. He's older, more experienced. He punched me in the ribs so hard, I felt it in my back 3 months later.
Jeez.
Because in those days, fighting was fighting.
Yeah.
If I punched you in the body and you didn't move, it wasn't a point. If I kicked you in the head, your head didn't move, it wasn't a point. I hit a guy with a back hook kick, gave him a black eye, and got 2 points.
Nice.
But that was the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. So this would have been still before they put in the safety gear, or right around the time it was starting?
In between.
Okay.
In between. I remember I don't think I fought with anything besides the cup, the mouthpiece, and the helmets really weren't a thing. We had this cotton thing we wore around our heads with a strap. Okay. That was only in the final.
Oh, wow.
It was a great time.
And then how long did you compete? How many years did you compete for after getting your black belt?
I fought from 1980 to 1995.
Wow.
We had a standard 6 tournaments a year that we fought in. We start with the Garden. Then we fought in Pennsylvania. We fought in Jersey. We fought in Rockville, Maryland, Kiwan Kim's. We chilled for the summer. And then we fought in September, Master Buys. And then we finished off with YB Choice in New Brunswick at Rutgers College. But that was the standard. Around that, we fought in different tournaments. Like sometimes in the summer, we fight in Canada. We fight the Olympic-style Taekwondo tournaments if we're in shape for it. The Greater New York Open, Garden State Games, Jersey State Championships. So there were random ones we fought along with the other 6.
Okay.
So I retired in 95 after winning the Garden, winning the All-American Open.
Nice.
But I had, something was still bothering me because I'd never won a national title.
Oh, really?
So because it was just a circuit. It was just a circuit we fought in. So in 98, AAU Taekwondo started becoming pretty big. So I said, let me see if I could win a national title doing this. So they had point and Olympic style. So I went to the States. I won first place in point and Olympic. Then went to the Nationals in Boca Raton, Florida. And the first day was Olympic. And I'm fighting this guy. He's pretty good in the final match. And I realized I didn't train enough for Olympic. I trained more for point.
Yeah.
I ended up getting a silver, but I lost on a draw. We both had one. It was 1-1, and they gave it to him on a decision.
Wow.
Well, the next day was point, and that was my world. So I had like 5 fights, I think, and won the gold medal. All right. So now I have a national title. Now I can retire. I can relax.
Nice. So basically you retired, then came out of retirement 3 years later to win your first national title.
Yep. But the crazy thing is,
that's cool.
I used the Garden as a warm up to prepare for that.
Okay.
And still made it to the Grand Championship match.
That is cool.
I lost the last fight to this kid from Maryland.
Yeah. So for listeners that don't know, what are the main differences between the point style and Olympic style?
Well, Olympic style is continuous, obviously. It's like 3 rounds, 3 3-minute rounds, normally like 3 2-minute rounds.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be smarter. You can knock guys out, have to move. It's a lot better. It's a different type of game.
Yeah.
Point tournaments, you have to be smart. You have to hit them and not let them hit you. Be real, real smart about it. I remember fighting in New Brunswick with my friends down Whitey Choice. I had my guard up, my hand in position. He kicked me square in the head. I didn't move my hand. I didn't move my head. And the judges were like, not enough. But they couldn't tell whether he hit me or not.
Nice.
Meanwhile, my head is going, you know?
Wow. I remember I'm sure you've heard me tell it a few times in the show, but my one and only tournament, I actually got my headgear kicked clean off. So it was January 1993. I was an orange belt. That was my only ever tournament I entered.
Wow.
Yeah. A guy threw a backspin and my headgear flew across the ring, and I heard my mom gasp on the other side of the gym. So
at least you got some respect from your family, man. Like my family were bowlers. They all loved bowling.
Oh, really?
I hated the sport. Oh, I hated it. So when I came home, my first band championship trophy, it was 6 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
I bring it in the house. I show my mom. She says, great. Something else should be the dust. Like,
Nice.
wow, Mom.
That's awesome. So now I mentioned earlier your teammates with Herb Perez. Did you at any point in your career have a thought of maybe going for the Olympics?
Not because Herb and Mark and those guys, they were single. They had no real responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I was really fighting, when I was 23 years old, I was already married, had a career, I was a graphic designer, and I was working on a family. I couldn't run around like those guys could.
Okay. It's definitely a commitment. That's a big thing. So being involved in the sport over all these years, starting in the late 70s and watching it now, what are your thoughts on the current state of Olympic Taekwondo? I know, me personally, I've mentioned a few times that my biggest complaint is not enough punching, and I know there's people that's out there trying to bring that back, but what are your thoughts overall on the current state of, Taekwondo in the Olympics and stuff?
It's a horror show.
Yeah.
I mean, this stuff doesn't work. They designed everything now to be able to hit the electronic Hogan.
Yeah.
So these ridiculous kicks that would never work in real life. They have their hands down all the time. Everybody's getting kicked in the head. You get kicked in the head back in my day, you're laying on the floor and you're not getting up.
Exactly.
Especially for Olympic Taekwondo.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and everybody's falling into it. Even friends of mine, former Olympic team members, they're training their kids for it because that's all there is.
Yeah.
So I have no respect for it. My other issue is that a lot of the people are training their kids with this stuff, but not training them in traditional Taekwondo.
Right. Yep.
So, I mean, it doesn't work outside their arena.
Definitely makes sense. And I don't, and as far as the whole punch thing, I know I think I've told a few people this, but I was in Taekwondo probably 4 years until the first time I saw a punch score in a tournament.
Really?
And it was, I mean, it's not that they weren't allowed. It's just either people weren't throwing them or they weren't throwing them well enough to score. Because it had to be, I believe the fights that I reffed and judged and stuff, I think it said trembling shock. You had to, as far as that. Yep. And I don't know if I've ever told the story, but I was watching it, one fight at a tournament in Brainerd, Minnesota. It was a red belt versus a brown belt. And it was a phenomenal fight. They were going great, punches, kicks, everything. And I forgot the specific, but I think it was the red belt threw a kick that missed, and the brown belt saw the opening and just dropped into a traditional stance and threw a perfect straight punch, knocked the guy back 6 feet. And I think all the judges were like, point. They were stunned for a second, holy crap, did he just do that? It was wow. Yeah, one of the best punches I've ever seen in a tournament personally. So
in point tournaments, I drop guys at front punch.
That's awesome.
So I mean, we punch all the time.
Yeah. Like I said, we do it. It's just, there's, and all, like I said, but nowadays they're wearing the full chest protectors and thick gloves and all that stuff. Now the tournament, a lot like my instructors in tournament for black belts, they don't require them to wear, gloves and stuff like that. So black belts, you see a little bit more of that, but lower belts, I mean, you see punches, but other than that one, I don't think I've ever seen a lower belt punch score in a tournament, unfortunately.
Back in the day for the Olympic style Taekwondo, they didn't score them.
I know.
You hit somebody all day and all night, they're not going to score it.
Sad. That's really, which encouraged them just not to do it. It's
exactly.
I mean, I remember I watched one Olympics and I don't think I saw one punch the whole Olympics. I can't remember what year it was. I want to say it might've been 2000 or 2004, but one of those back then, not one punch that I might've missed a few fights, but I watched a lot of them and not one punch. Crazy. So what led you down the teaching path? What made you want to teach martial arts?
Well, I really kind of always have been teaching. Mm-hmm. My last year of college, art school, I ran out of money my last semester. So I had to figure out something to do. So I was only in school like a couple of times a week, so I had to make money. So I was substitute teaching from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock. I was a after-school counselor at the YMCA from 3:30 to 6:30.
Okay.
And I was assistant instructor at the school from 7 to 9. So, even as a first degree red belt, as a high level red belt, I was teaching at that point.
Mm-hmm.
It was enjoyable. I mean, like our school was, inner city school. It was good.
Yeah.
But I was a fighter. You know what I mean? So I didn't really understand technique that much. Okay. So when I got my black belt in 1980, we had our master technician who was also taking the test. I'm like, Tony Alvarez, Tony, sir, can I train at your school? Because I know how you are. He said, sure. So, but this is a school that Herb came from.
Okay.
This is Hoboken, New Jersey. So I went there and he just taught me everything. I understood specifics. I understood technique. I understood the physics behind it. I understood everything and how things are supposed to move, where they're supposed to be. I spent 5 years with him.
Nice.
Of course, with a master instructor too, but
yeah,
Tony's the one that really, fixed me.
That's good though. I mean, and that's what, most of my guests will agree with that, that finding that right instructor like that, or finding that, for something specialized that you want to work on, finding that right teacher makes such a difference.
And Tony was so sarcastic.
Really?
He's like, oh my God, why are your fingers bent like that? Is that a knife hand? What's wrong with you? You got arthritis?
Wow. Was that the school you got like your second degree or third degree?
I mean, we're under one main school.
Okay.
On the Grandmaster Kim.
Yeah.
And all, Master Blau, Master Tucker, Master Alvarez, they're all instructors under him.
Okay.
So we all tested,
together.
The same place, either in Orange with my master or his brother in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Well, that makes sense though.
Yeah.
Thinking back then, what do you think has changed about your teaching style over all these years?
Well, the quality of people, for one thing. The kids are definitely different.
Yeah.
And being a public school teacher, I see things differently as well, too.
Mm-hmm.
There are different needs now. Even Herb says this. Herb says we're not making champions of the ring anymore. We're making champions of life.
Okay.
So it's very important to instill those key elements, the integrity, the perseverance, the self-control, the indomitable spirit, so they can become successful in their lives. Teaching is definitely different. And I was still competing. I was a lunatic. So I was teaching my kids. I was throwing bats at them, kicking bats at them and standing on their stomachs and they do like sit-ups and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Those days are gone though, but
Yeah.
So I guess I've changed that manner as well.
Yeah, I know. I personally miss some of that old school stuff, but
yeah.
Is Thunder Martial Arts, is that like a brick and mortar school or?
I've always run my programs out of Catholic schools because you have a Catholic audience.
Okay.
The kids are there anyway, so their parents sign them up.
Yeah.
That was always very successful. It was brick and mortar for like 5 minutes, I think.
Okay.
When one of the Catholic schools closed and I was renting a space downtown. I've never done this full time because I've been a teacher full time.
Yeah.
So, I couldn't afford full time rent.
That makes sense.
But I've taught in Jersey City since 1989. I've taught a lot of people, either public school or through Taekwondo.
Yeah.
And I run into kids all the time. I'm at the point, like if other instructors have said on your podcast, where I'm teaching my kids' kids.
Yep.
The
name Thunder Martial Arts, does that have a special meaning? How did you come up with the name?
Yes, it does. When our master passed away, we came up with a patch. And the patch says, he is the lightning, we are his thunder. Oh. So I just took it from there. Thunder Martial Arts Studio.
Very cool. Do you remember over the years the first student you brought to black belt?
Actually, there are two at the same time.
Okay.
And one of them is still with me.
Oh, very cool.
He got his black belt. He was like 16, I guess.
Okay.
And Nilsson was like probably 25. But Christian, he's been in and out,
Mm-hmm.
Because life does that. But he's been back with me full time. Well, not full time. He's been back with me at the school for like the last 4 or 5 years. And he has this son that comes. His son's 10.
Okay.
He's like my son, though. He really is.
That is really cool. And you mentioned that the school that you trained at, you guys never really did weapons training. Now, is that anything you've picked up over the years? Have you ever got involved in it on your own?
Well, 20 years ago, I retired from competition in 98 officially.
Yep.
And in 2005, I started as Screamer.
Oh, very cool.
Under Grandmaster Don Cuesta, who currently is the foremost instructor for Herb Perez in the world.
Mm-hmm. So
because I always wanted to train the weapon, just never had the opportunity.
Yeah.
So in 2005, I started training, Filipino martial arts.
Okay.
And I still do that. I teach at the school, one of the masters at the school.
Okay.
Which is a thing, man, because okay, you want me to swing this stick and move my feet at the same time? Right.
So what's the favorite out of all the weapons you've learned then through Eskrima? What's your favorite?
The double stick.
Nice.
batons. Yeah.
Yep.
I used to compete in single stick and double stick.
Okay.
So, the system, those parries, whatever you do with a stick, you do with a knife, you do with your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also something that's important because Taekwondo, we punch, but it's not something that we're really like masters of as far as being able to really do it properly.
Mm-hmm.
And the screamer teaches you whole different flow with the hand.
Okay. I've been lucky. My traditional Taekwondo school that I've been at since 94, we've always done weapons at our school, luckily. We've done kama, we've done nunchuck, we've done danbong, we've done bow staff, we've done sword, 3-sectional staff. So I've been lucky enough to get a nice, kind of a nice arrangement of, different weapons over the years and stuff. So.
See, it's funny because it's not like my Grandmaster didn't know the stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He knew it. He just wasn't teaching us.
Yeah. Just wasn't part of the curriculum.
He grew up during, the poor times during Korea right after the war.
Mm-hmm. We
would go out to dinner sometimes, and out of habit, he would eat with his left hand wrapped around his plate, so nobody could take it from him while he's eating.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
So he knew this stuff, but wasn't teaching us.
Definitely. Obviously, in the intro, I talked about, the children's books you've written. Talk about what kind of led to that. Where did the interest in writing come from, and how did you decide to write the first book?
Well, I've always written.
Okay.
Even as a young kid, I've always written stories. I would get extra credit for writing stories in high school.
Me too.
And I always drew. My first thought process was to become a cartoonist.
Oh.
That's what I really wanted to do. That's why I went to art school.
Okay.
So I've always drawn. I've always written stuff. So what happened was my first job as a teacher, I worked in the worst grammar school in the Jersey public school system. Not that the school was bad, but the area around it was.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of children, had a lot of issues. So I would stand in the courtyard, beginning of school, they'd wait for my kids to come in and watch them and just look at them and see what fire I have to put out before they get to me.
Mm-hmm.
What happened at home this morning that I had to fix before you come into my classroom and make things crazy.
Yeah.
So like I mentioned before, I realized that, everybody knows that bully and bullies, oh my God, this kid's a bully, he's so bad. But people aren't born bullies. It's created by their environment for the most part. And that's, what I tried to bring across in this book. Where his kid was a good kid, but he became emotionally disturbed because his father was killed overseas in Iraq. He's in the army, and it just threw him off. So whenever he saw a kid with a father, he wanted to fight and beat them up. So that's the beginning concept of the first story. Peace comes from Ajani. That
first story. Now, had you always planned on writing more than one, or were you going to just see how the book did first? Or
no, that was supposed to be it.
Okay. Really?
That one.
Okay.
But then I realized I had more to say.
Nice.
The second book was called Culture Clash. But what happens each year, the boys are a year older.
Mm-hmm.
They start off in 6th grade, next year they're 7th grade. And Culture Clash deals with the fact that you can be different cultures and still share the same things, but not understand or know that.
Okay.
Like the second book deals with a group from the Dominican Republic moving into the town, and they're not getting along with the African Americans because they don't realize they have more alike than they do different. It also deals with the Japanese and Korean culture. A Japanese restaurateur comes into town, and Sonny Kim, one of the main characters, his father's very upset about it because of certain connections they had during the Korean War.
Mm-hmm.
So in the third book deals with Culture Class, where the boys are at odds. The two boys are at odds because the African American kid, Ajani, doesn't understand certain things about the Korean culture. And he thinks he's being left out and not involved. And they end up splitting up. And he actually goes back into the African American community to try to find out where he's supposed to be.
Okay.
A lot of these things are from things I've seen, things I've experienced myself. So they're all melted in there.
And as of now, 5 have been released, and you said the 6th one's being released very soon?
Yeah, 6 is at my publisher. We're going back and forth today, matter of fact.
Okay.
Should have been done already.
Did you say you've already finished the 7th one too?
No, I'm in the middle of it.
Okay. Now, are you planning on stopping at 7 since that'll make him a senior in high school? Okay.
I'm supposed to stop at 6, but I talk too much.
Yeah. And what about after that? Any thoughts on any different, non-children's books maybe, or any other kind of stories in there?
Well, I'm thinking about, I want to revisit this town in 15 years.
Oh, okay.
Because high school and in life, everybody's fun, everything is happening. Yeah. But when you become adults, life gets a lot darker.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm thinking about doing that. I'm also thinking about writing a children's book about a Filipino family. So I got some thoughts in my head.
Any thoughts or any looking into it at all of maybe trying to get these made into like cartoons or something?
Well, I want to get the whole series done before I really start running.
Okay.
I would actually like to see it on Netflix or something like that, to be honest with you.
Definitely.
but one step at a time.
Yeah. And I'm assuming you said you do drawing and graphic art. So did you do all the pictures and do all the drawings in the books?
For the first one, yes.
Okay.
But being a teacher, I like to give other people opportunities. If I see talent, I want to help them push their talent forward.
Very cool.
Like the cover for the second book, my wife's best friend's wife was an illustrator in the Philippines.
Okay.
But she came here, she started working on Wall Street, and she got away from it. And I kept pushing her. You should go back and do this. You should go back and do this. Keep trying. I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. So a few years later, I have her do the cover for my book. And then she gets laid off from Wall Street, goes into the children's book illustration world, and she hit the ground running.
Wow. That is cool.
The third cover, too, was from a student of mine who's a painter. She did the third one. The fourth one I did. The fifth one was done by one of the Eskrima students who was an art major at Rutgers.
Okay. And
the sixth one is one of my students who just graduated from our high school, and she's down in the Savannah School of Art now.
Oh, yeah. Nice. I think one of my son's good friends is went to that school. Yeah. I think he's a senior there this year.
Cool.
It's a good school. It's a really good school.
Yeah. Expensive. Yeah.
Yes, it is. I know my son, that's one of the ones my son looked at. I'm like, please don't pick that one. Like, yeah, no. Luckily he didn't. He's going to the University of Utah. So
there you go.
Still not super cheap, but better than that.
For sure.
So when are you hoping for the release date of the sixth one? Is there a target date?
I've been pushing him. So I'm hoping by the middle of November, I'm hoping.
Oh, okay. That's soon.
Yeah.
And when the episode comes out, I will put a link to the website. Is it peacecomestoajani.com? And that has all the books in there?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll put links for everything so they can find it and learn about it and stuff. And it's cool. I mean, I've actually, now this, you're like I think fifth person now that I've met that has written a children's book. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. I always liked writing when I was younger. I've never thought of a children's book, but I don't know if I would have the talent for that. I'm writing a regular book, but children's, I honestly, personally, I think a children's book would be tougher because that's a harder audience. So.
Yeah, but I'm in that audience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. For you, much like I have a sister who's a kindergarten teacher. She could probably pull that off. And I mean, I'm not sure if I could. So no, that's awesome. I mean, and how have they been received? What kind of feedback have you been getting on the books?
See, that's the crazy thing. Everything is about timing.
Mm-hmm.
The first two books, Korea went nuts over, but it's timing. So what happened was, at this period, Korea and Japan are still going back and forth because Japan refuses to admit that they had comfort women during the war. Which basically, they took the Korean women and made prostitutes out of them. They refuse to admit that, so they're going back and forth. In the second book, because of certain things that happened with Ajani and Sunny, I touch on the idea and concept of comfort women.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a friend who owns a Korean bag store in Jersey City. She read the books and she was crying.
Oh, wow.
And she called the Korean newspaper and told them. And once they heard about comfort women, they just ran with it, So
okay.
I was on the cover, I think, 3 Korean newspapers featured on 2 Korean news stations. But one of the stations, they definitely had an agenda. So they came to Jersey City to interview me. And I set things up at the Catholic school in the office. They're like, okay, we ask a question, just answer. Just look at camera. No problem, no problem. I said, okay, fine. Why you write book? I said, well, if you write the book, it's about, okay. Why you put comfort woman in book? I said, well, I'm going by history of Korea. Okay. Do you think comfort woman is a bad thing? So they're pushing their agenda. That's all they wanted to talk about.
Wow.
And we're going back and forth for like a half hour. I'm trying to talk about the book. And all they wanted to talk about was the comfort woman.
Wow.
So, eventually that was over. I took them to the train station and they turned to me and say, well, you might get angry email from Japan because they don't like me doing this.
Wow.
But then a more realistic newscaster came down and he interviewed me. He came to the school when I had a brick and mortar.
Mm-hmm.
Stayed with me from 8 to 12. Then I took him to the bag store. He talked to the Korean woman for like a half hour. And then we came back to my office where all my setup is, and we finished the interview there.
Okay.
So that turned out to be a really nice news story, even though it was only like 4 or 5 minutes long. That was nicely done.
That's cool. Like I said, anything I can do to help, I will promote it. I'll put links out there and stuff and share it, and hopefully get more people checking out the books. It's really cool. I mean, I didn't get to, and I just got them in the mail, and so I didn't get to actually read them before we did the interview and stuff. But I definitely want to check through them, and I glanced through them, and the pictures are obviously just great. So great on each of them. Great job on all the artwork and everything. So yeah, no, that's awesome. Congrats.
Appreciate it.
Over your martial arts journey, is there one philosophy that's at the top of your list?
Well, I don't know if it's a philosophy so much as perseverance and indomitable spirit go hand in hand.
Yep.
And I try to get people to understand that this is who you are. Don't give up on yourself. Keep moving forward because you'll get past things in life. Yep. And like when my kids are fighting and they'll fall on the ground, I said, this is that test you failed. This is that person who's been bothering you in school. This is the relationship you're having trouble with. Get up, get past it, and keep going.
That's cool. Yeah, the tenets of Taekwondo, I know them well.
So what kind of Taekwondo did you practice?
So it's traditional Taekwondo. When we first started, so our Grandmaster is, well, my current instructor is a Grandmaster now, but his instructor is Grandmaster Mu Young Yun from Seoul, Korea. And when I first started with him in 94, well, technically I started under the same system in 92 with a different instructor, but that's the bad guy we don't talk about. But when I first started, it was Sung Mu Kwan, and then sometime in the 2000s it changed into Chung Mu Kwan.
Okay.
So yeah.
We're Muda Kwan.
Okay. And when I started Tong Sudo, it was Muda Kwan back in 1984. So that was my first martial arts school was Muda Kwan Tong Sudo.
Yeah, so, technically that's what we were to.
Yeah. That is cool. You mentioned learning eskrima, since the 2000s and stuff. Is there any other style that you wish you could learn or maybe had more time to learn?
I'm so broken up from all the years of fighting. My back is shot, my hip is shot.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe, yes, actually, what's the style called? It's similar to eskrima, an arnis. It's, I can't think of the name off the top of my head.
Kali or one of those, or no?
No, Kali, arnis, eskrima, they're all based the same thing.
Yeah.
It's an Indonesian art.
Oh.
And actually, since you had the interview with Dr. Gilliam, is it Gilliam?
Yep.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
The Russian martial art. That's really fascinating. Like we talked about before.
I did a seminar of Sambo. That's the only Russian martial art I've ever come in contact with. That was back in 1995.
How was that?
I loved it. But I was also with one of the top guys in the world, Gokar Chavakian. He's the guy who trained Oleg Taktarov for the UFC back in the day. So yeah, I met him when I lived in California and did a one-day seminar. So that was my only experience with him, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Cool.
I mean, I've done various seminars over the years. So Hapkido, some grappling, just enough to stay off the ground.
Yeah.
And things like that over the years, but nothing, as intense as the stuff I've done now.
Okay. My son is currently studying Kali Eskrima in Utah. He found a school out there and just in the last few months, he started studying. He did, Taekwondo throughout his childhood up until he was like 13 and got his second degree junior black belt. But he wanted to get back into it and stuff. And so he started doing that this year. So hoping he enjoys it.
It's great stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned, you being broken up and stuff and some injuries. So what's your worst martial arts related injury over the years?
I think it's basically cumulative. All the wars I've been to, the last 3 discs of my back are completely collapsed.
Wow.
And my left hip is not in great shape. It's bad enough I could get it replaced, but I'm not in pain all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still in the gym 3 mornings a week or 4 mornings a week if I'm doing a eskrima. So, I keep moving. I have a chiropractor, massage therapist, and acupuncturist basically on speed dial.
Nice.
So, that end, long time ago, when there's no heat in the school, when I was a freaking lunatic, I started doing axe kicks as hard as I could, like 90 miles an hour, and ripped my hamstring.
Dang.
Because the room was so cold. That was stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Having a good chiropractor is definitely a good thing.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Mine's a lifesaver.
Oh, yes.
And what are your thoughts on something like MMA? Is that something you're a fan of? Do you watch like the UFC and stuff?
I like it to a point, but there's no, not art behind it, but the spiritual and mental aspects about it really aren't there.
Yeah.
That's my only issue I have with it, really.
I think when I interviewed Benny the Jet, he said it best. He said there's no Budo.
Yeah,
they don't have that. So,
exactly.
And that's not to say there's not any of it, but the majority, because you still have a few of them that come from a traditional background. They'll still bow when they walk into the octagon and stuff, but it's definitely far and few between compared to when I first started watching it, and you'd actually see every other person out there would bow and show respect. And
right.
It's unfortunately kind of gone away. I think it has. It's transitioned strictly into a sport versus a martial art, in my opinion.
True. I agree with that.
Which is sad. But I used to love it so much. And I don't think I've sat and watched a full UFC event in probably 7 to 8 years.
I'll catch one every now and then.
Yeah.
But not often.
Yeah. I mean, if it's on and I see it, I'll stop and watch for a little while. But if I don't see something good right away, I'm going to flip it and not watch it.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
I mentioned in the intro that, you're retiring, from like your full-time job. So how long do you want to keep teaching martial arts?
I'm in the Eskrima school all the time.
Okay.
My Taekwondo program is small because where I taught for most of the time was downtown Jersey City, and that's where there's a lot of money. But the problem that also is people are very particular.
Yeah.
So after the pandemic and the Catholic school shut us down, and I had to move on to my Grandmaster school, which is like 10 minutes away, and talking to my clientele, you're like, excuse me, you moved 10 minutes away. I'm sorry, that's not convenient for us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have a small group. I spend most of my time teaching the Eskrima now and our niece and there. And so my friends, I'm running around the world with them.
Okay.
So I've been on the U.S. team like 4 times.
Oh, wow.
I fought in the Philippines. I fought in Budapest, Korea. So it's been a blast.
That is cool. You can obviously tell how much a person truly loves the art, where it's 10 minutes is inconvenient, whereas someone like us, he was driving 2 hours every other day to go train. So It's definitely a different mindset depending on the person. Right. So
this is true.
My current instructor, if I ended up moving, I'd probably drive 2 hours to train with him easily. I mean, like I said, when you find a good instructor, I've been with him for 31 years now. So I
understand that Jersey is a thing where it's expensive. So people are paying for the kids to go to private school. And then they're paying a lot to live.
Mm-hmm.
So the kids starting to get into high school age, they want to move someplace where they can have a house and where they go into a school system that's really good.
Yep.
So they can get rid of those 2 burdens.
Yeah.
I can't stop it from that. That's life.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. All right, I have some fun questions we use to wrap it up. And I know you've probably heard a lot of these, so hopefully you'll have some good answers. But let's say you decided you were going to fight in the UFC, you were going to walk into that octagon. What's your walk-up music going to be? What song's playing as you're taking that walk into the cage?
Oh, I forgot about that question. Oh, boy. I guess I gotta go with the Rocky theme. Was the first thing that's coming across my mind.
That one seems to be the go-to for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's a classic. You can't beat it.
Yeah, it's a great song.
It is. Yeah. And I know I'm kind of excited for that new movie coming out that kind of tells the story of Stallone trying to get the movie made.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. They just started casting it. They've released like who's going to play Stallone and who's going to play some of the other actors. And it's literally a movie about making Rocky.
Oh, wow.
I think it sounds like a cool story. I mean, hopefully it'll be done well.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it's just in the last few weeks, it started popping up. You just Google, I forget what the name of it is. I think it's called like I Am Rocky or something like that.
Huh.
But yeah, definitely sounds good. If you're a Rocky fan, I think it'll be a fun one. So
look for that.
Yeah. And it'll probably be out like next year sometime, probably if they're just starting it. So, all right. How about your martial arts Mount Rushmore? 3, 4, 5 names you'd put up on your Mount Rushmore.
Well, then I got to keep pretty close to the vest.
Okay.
My instructor who raised me up, Joe Tucker, a.k.a. Master Yusuf Bilal, Master Tony Alvarez, Grandmaster Kichin Kim, and my current instructor, Supreme Grandmaster Don Cuesta.
Nice. That's your Eskrima instructor?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. How about, obviously you can't pick one of your own. Favorite martial arts book? We
read a book for a black belt test, which I still make my guys read.
Yeah.
It's called The Making of a Martial Artist, Sang Chu Shim.
Oh, okay.
Very important book. I love the book a lot. And of course, the Book of 5 Rings.
Yep. So I'm actually adding that. I don't think I've ever read Making of a Martial Artist. I know I've heard of it. A few guests have mentioned it. I'm going to write that one down though. And
it's an amazing book.
Yeah.
Amazing book.
Now you had said when you were training, you had to, now you said there was a few different books. What were some of the other books you had to read?
That was really the only main one.
Okay.
Book of 5 Rings we had to read too, but he really didn't talk to us too much about that one.
Okay.
He specified and stood mostly with the making of the martial arts.
That is cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to add that one. So, all right. How about a favorite martial arts video game? Did you ever get into gaming?
Nah, never played them.
Okay. No worries. How about a favorite martial arts TV show?
Oh, Warrior.
Oh, so good.
It's fantastic.
Yes. My only complaint is that they only made 3 seasons. That thing should have went for like 7, 8 seasons easily.
It really should have. I was very disappointed when they stopped it.
Yeah, agreed. I'm trying to get some more people from that show on here. So I've had the stunt coordinator, Brett Chan, was so far the only one I've had, but I'm working on a few more.
Remember that one?
Yeah. fingers crossed I can get some more people from that show on here. But yeah, it's so good. And I was bummed because when it first came out, I forget what channel it was on, but it was a channel I didn't have. So I didn't see it until like 3 years or 4 years after it was canceled. And then it hit Netflix and I binged the whole thing in a week. So
yeah.
Like some shows, I don't mind having to wait like a week for new episodes and stuff. And with certain ones, I want to binge them. So. Yeah,
of course. It'd be like Cobra Kai. That was a great series too.
Yes. Oh, loved it. That one I've been lucky. That one I've had like 6-7 people connected. Not just Cobra Kai, but the whole Karate Kid universe in general that I've had. Oh, wow. I've been lucky enough. And my goal was to just get like one person from that series. And now I've had like 7. Hopefully get some more. My dream guest. I'm trying to get Ralph Macchio and William Zabka. I would love to get those guys on my show, but that's probably a long shot, but I'm going to keep trying. So
have you tried though?
I have tried. So far, no responses, but I got a few other ins and some connections I'm going to try to use and stuff. So hopefully make it happen. That'll be one of the big ones, I think. Maybe my 300th episode or something. We'll see.
That'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. All right. How about a favorite martial arts movie?
Okay, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Nice.
And there's a little known movie called Red Belt.
I've heard mixed. I don't think I've ever actually seen it, but I've heard mixed things about it.
It's a jiu-jitsu movie.
Yeah.
But I like it because it goes from a guy who, he's a martial artist, but that's all he is. He's not a businessman. His marriage goes south. He can't see past certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole core idea of the story itself, I really like.
Okay. I know there's some like really good people in it too. I mean, yeah. And I'm actually shocked. I don't know why I haven't seen it. Maybe I haven't found it online or anything like that. I know I don't own it.
You should check it out and just make your own decisions about it.
Yeah. So usually any martial arts movie, I'll watch it. I'm going to watch it at least and see. So I'll have to, I think you're the 3rd or 4th guest that's mentioned it. So I'll definitely have to check it out now. All right. How about a favorite movie fight scene? Any movie you've ever seen?
The Raid. The hallway scene in The Raid and the end scene in The Raid.
Yep. I'm actually shocked that one's not picked more.
Oh, well.
I think only like 5 or 6 people have mentioned it, but that's such an amazing fight scene.
Oh, it is. It's such a great movie.
Yes. Yeah. No, that one I remember when my friend first told me about it, and I had never heard of it. He got like a bootleg copy or something like that, and before it was released in the U.S., and I'm like, holy crap, this is a good movie. No, that is awesome. That is really cool. All right. Before I let you go, anything I forgot to ask you, any last minute stuff we want to get out there, parting words?
I know it's not always in my information, but I recently promoted to 8th degree.
Oh, congratulations. Did not know that. Yeah. Everything I found said 7th. So, okay. That's good. When was that? How long ago was that?
Actually, probably like a year ago. I'm just not good at updating things.
Yeah. Well, and, it could also be someone, like where it's not, I mean, yes, it's cool, but it's not the end all be all to be known as an 8th degree, maybe. So
no, I mean, it is what it is. It's fine.
Yeah. I know, like my instructor, when I first trained with him, he hated being called Master Jim. He hated, he's a 4th degree black belt, but I don't think he finally got comfortable with it until he became a Grandmaster. Then he's like, you can call me Master Jim now. He's like, don't ever call me Grandmaster.
Yeah, I'm used to Master. I don't like them calling me Grandmaster.
Exactly. So yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, Keith, seriously, man, this is awesome. I love what you're doing. I love that you're writing children's books. That's so cool. And it's not, especially with a specific topic like that, it's not something that has really been done before. I mean, yeah, there's some out there, but I love that you're doing a whole series and hopefully getting some more going. And hopefully I'll see him on a cartoon on Netflix at some point in my life. That'd be awesome. But this has been so much fun, and I'd love to stay in touch, and I will definitely let you know when the episode comes out. But I think the listeners are going to enjoy this, and hopefully they're going to buy all your books.
That's the plan. I mean, it works for me too. I really enjoyed this podcast with you. I listen to it every week.
That means so much. Truly. If it wasn't for the listeners, I would not be doing this. So, and it seems like they just keep growing and growing. Every episode, I get more listeners. So
there's so much to learn, man. These people you interview, they're so informative. They've done so many interesting things.
Mm-hmm.
It's really great.
And the best part is that some of my most popular episodes are the ones that most people have never heard of. They're maybe well known in their circles or something like that, but they're not, I've had some big name stars on here and stuff like that. And yes, those episodes do really well, but some of my most popular ones are the ones that aren't as well known, which is kind of cool. People I think they just love it in general. They love the stories and they love hearing, especially new ones they've never heard of. And and new styles they've never heard of and new instructors and stuff. So yeah, it helps. That's why most of my, after my first probably 6-7 months, most of my listeners have now come from referrals. I mean, I still go out and I find them on my own and things like that, but I'd say 90% of my guests come from referrals from other guests now, which is awesome.
Cool.
But seriously, this has been so much fun. I've truly enjoyed it, and I can't wait to release the episode.
Great. Brian, thank you so much for this time. I appreciate you.
Wrap up today's episode by taking your own training to the next level with Martial Theory by Steve Perlman, the book that's redefining martial arts thinking. Find Martial Theory on Amazon today. Join the worldwide movement at martialtheoryu.com, where you'll find Q&A sessions, live events, and direct guidance from Steve himself. Use code EverydayMA for 20% off for life. That's martialtheoryu.com, code EverydayMA. Thanks for listening to Everyday Martial Artist. We hope you will join us every week for a brand new episode with a different martial artist telling their story. If you enjoy the show, be sure to leave us a review. Also, be sure to check out our website at everydaymartialartist.com. There you can find all of our episodes and contact us to suggest guests and ask questions. Again, thanks for listening to Everyday Martial Artist, and we'll see you next week.